The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, Nintendo's newest game. We talk about it today. My friends, welcome to the Mario Matter, your favorite Nintendo podcast, episode number 108, with your host, Nintendo YouTuber EmSwizzle. You know me, my friends. I am your good old host, back here once again. Guys, we finally have AC in this room. I feel so much better sitting here with these bright lights. It's a great day. Today, as you may know, we are going over Nintendo news to kick this podcast off in just a few seconds here. After that, we dive into my first impressions on The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom. I have the game right here. I've been played it for a couple hours today. I have my first thoughts and my first takes. Should you buy it? Should you not buy it? We will dive into that. After that, me and you dive into the question block segment, also known as the Q&A segment, where I answer your questions you asked me. Without delaying your podcast experience, let's go ahead and dive into the show and get to Nintendo news to kick things off. Let's get to it. Bruce Buffer, read the intro.
Welcome to the Mario Matter, the #1 Nintendo podcast.
Man, it's been a while since we've done a solo episode on the actual set. I did a solo episode 2 weeks ago for the EmEO game. It might have been 3 weeks ago. 3 weeks ago for the EmEO game, and that was all cool and fun, but that was on a remote location. So now we're back on the set, the familiar set solo episode. We dive into Nintendo news right here. There's actually a lot of news this week, guys. We got Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom news. We got freaking Mario Party Jamboree stuff. We got Nintendo taking down some AI things and them taking a heavy stance against it. We got Nintendo Museum stuff that I promise you will want to see. I mean, stick around, man. This is all good stuff. But I want to begin with Zelda Echoes of Wisdom news that has come out ever since the game released. You know, it's obviously, I don't have to tell you, guys, the news today is Zelda Echoes of Wisdom released. You can go buy it now. That's not the news. I mean, I'm sure that you know that. However, I've picked out about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 big pieces of news that have come out following the release of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom. So I guess the first piece of news, we have 6 pieces of news. The first piece of news being the game is out now. You can go and buy it. It is a full $60 in the US here. Price may differ based on your region, but the game is out now. You can buy that. I told you that I wouldn't have to tell you that piece of news, but I will. The actual first real piece of news that has come out ever since the game released is Nintendo is releasing a tote bag for Zelda Echoes of Wisdom on My Nintendo. So, of course, we know My Nintendo is pretty much the Nintendo reward system that they have. They're giving you a essentially free tote bag for 1,200 platinum points. You can earn those for free. You can redeem a tote bag that has a Zelda poster on it that you can find in the game. I'll put it on screen. Audio listeners, I'll put it in the description. It's a very cool looking tote bag. You can buy that in North America, and it's also released in Japan. Not sure if it's released in the UK. If it's not, the UK gets everything, so it probably will be soon. I will tell you that much. Once again, 1,200 platinum points. This is not a pre-order bonus, but a optional reward that you can redeem if you would like to. Me personally, let's be real, I don't need a tote bag, nor do I need a Zelda tote bag, you know? I always get confused by the tote bag pre-order bonuses. Like, they're doing a Super Mario Party Jamboree tote bag pre-order bonus at Best Buy next month in October. I'm not interested. I don't need a tote bag. Do you know what I do need, though? I need those acrylic stand bonuses that they've been making. I need that mystery puzzle bonus that they made for this Zelda game. I need those bonuses, not no tote bag. But it is up there if you do want it. Who knows? Maybe you are a tote bag collector. Maybe someone who's listening is a diehard tote bag fan. Who knows? But the next piece of news here, if you don't want the tote bag and want to use your platinum points for something else, there are Zelda Echoes of Wisdom Switch Online icons that have released. If you have a Switch and you have Switch Online, you can, as you probably know, customize your Switch icon, like your profile icon, with custom elements from the Switch Online app that is on your home screen. They have released Zelda Echoes of Wisdom icons. There are a bunch of cool, yet basic ones up there right now. There will be 4 waves of icons that change every Tuesday night. So wave 1 is available now. It'll change October 1st. That Tuesday night they'll change. And then, you keep getting new Zelda Echoes of Wisdom icons for the next 4 weeks. And then Mario Party Jamboree comes out. And then they give you some icons for those. Me buying Switch Online icons for Platinum points. I do it a lot. I have not done it yet for Echoes of Wisdom. I have not bought these icons. Should I buy them, guys? Let me know. I was going to say comment down below if you're buying these icons, but that's a pretty, small piece of news to be commenting on. So hold your comments for later, unless you already commented, then, who knows. But those are out there now. No one really cares if, for me to report on Switch Online icons, but I want to do it because it's cool to me. It's nice. Things are updating in the world of Nintendo Switch. The next piece of Zelda-related news, guys, feel free to skip it. There are timestamps down below if you don't want to hear this anymore. People want to hear it, but not everyone is a Zelda fan. So, whatever you're here for, that's fine. More Zelda news. The game studio Grezzo has been confirmed to have helped make Echoes of Wisdom. So we know Grezzo. They've made Link's Awakening, the remake for Switch. They even helped make games like Miitopia and Luigi's Mansion 3 and past Zelda games. They have a lot of hands-on work with the Zelda series, so they helped make this game. Why is that important, Max? Well, that's pretty much because people who have had heavy hands-on Zelda games in the past made this new Zelda game, which we'll talk about soon. That's always good news. 2 more pieces of Zelda news. 4th piece of news here. There has been a day 1 patch released, version 1.0.1, and what this is if there are any issues with the game, Nintendo issues out a patch. I'm saying issue a lot. They issue out a patch to fix certain things, and they did that today as of recording. However, the only thing that we know that they changed was it says fixed several issues to improve overall gameplay experience. They fixed some things. If I'm being honest, after playing the game, they didn't fix enough things, but they did fix some things. I'll dive deeper into that, what I just said there, in a few minutes here when I talk about the game. You can skip there if you want. And then finally, the last Zelda piece of news to report on. That was a lot of Zelda news. Is actually, guys, pretty weird. And I kind of want to talk about this. I'm not going to lie. I want to talk about this. So, GameStop has been reaching out to customers saying, hey, your Zelda Echoes of Wisdom pre-order bonus, pre-order, not bonus, pre-order, we're not going to have the game on time. They've been calling people saying, hey, your game's delayed for a pre-order, which people want to pick up day 1. That's bad. So that information comes via Nintendeal on Twitter. Pretty much what's been happening. I don't think it's even a GameStop problem. I think what's happening here is, I assume that it's Nintendo who ships the games from wherever they make them to a bunch of stores like GameStop, Best Buy, Target, Walmart. I assume it's Nintendo who ships out all the games. I guess Nintendo delayed their shipment to GameStop, and here's how I know this, okay? Here's my fan theory for why the GameStop Zelda Echoes of Wisdom copies are delayed, okay? Look at this. If I can recall correctly, it came out that several Zelda Tears of the Kingdom copies that were leaked or sold came out of GameStop. That was what I heard. At least one of them. I'm not sure if the first ones did, but at least some of them did, right? I think that was Nintendo waiting to send their GameStop copies until the last minute, because they didn't want the game to leak, even though it did. It did end up leaking. They didn't want it to leak. So now, because they sent them out late, GameStop don't have your copies, which hurts GameStop for something that's not even their fault. You know, I don't defend GameStop very often, but if this happened to you and now you're like upset and you're like, I'm never going to GameStop again, give them another shot, because I guarantee you that's a Nintendo problem, that they don't have their games on time. GameStop, I don't like to defend them often because they've done me dirty several times. It's documented on my second channel. But for this instance, forgive them. I don't think it's their fault. I'll go ahead and give this little side story too. I explained this on my second channel, as I said, but I'll explain it in short here. I picked up the game today, Echoes of Wisdom, and pretty much I got no pre-order bonus for it when I was promised I would get a pre-order purchase bonus. I got nothing for it. So I think Nintendo has been kind of funky with their shipping out of the game recently. You know, whatever. Buy the game digitally if you have to. A lot of monkey business has been going on. By the way, I keep mentioning my second channel. If you want to subscribe to that, the link is down below. I'll leave it. I'll make it the first link in the comments. You can check it out there. I just make funny videos that I don't really like care how they do. I mean, they're like, you know, of course I look at the views and stuff and hope that they do well, but if they don't, I don't really care. I talk about my experiences with some things. I open up launch day games. It's a fun little time. Subscribe to that if you would like. But that's all Zelda news, my friends. It's all over. For my non-Zelda fans, hello, welcome. Thank you for skipping to this timestamp, because now we're talking about the funniest Nintendo, what do you call it? The funniest Nintendo takedown of something that they do not like. That is wordy to describe this, but our next headline of news here reads, Nintendo shows once again that they are against AI. So we know, and we've talked about on this show, that Nintendo has said in investors' meetings that they are not big fans of AI, nor will they ever really use them. You know, we heard Shantaro Furukawa in a meeting saying something along the lines of, we recognize that AI is a good tool, but we're not going to use it because we don't want to, and that could cause intellectual property problems. That's not what he said, but something along those lines, okay? He said something like that, and pretty much Nintendo's not a fan of the whole AI thing. And they proved it, because over the past week, Nintendo took down a Twitter photo, or an X photo, whatever you want to call it, of Mario holding a cigarette and a drink, a beer. So that picture is obviously not official. Nintendo would not approve of such picture. It was actually generated by Twitter's AI called Grok. Grok made that picture of Mario with a cigarette on a beach with a beer, and it was posted by Tom Warren from the Verge gaming outlet. And that picture, that harmless picture on Twitter, which people knew was fake, like, I don't think anyone believed it. I will not lie, it did look real. It looked real for sure, but people knew it that it was fake. A company reached out to Tom Warren explaining that they took down his picture, or his AI-made picture from Grok, the Twitter AI tool. And what was I saying? The company who took down the picture was called Tracer. And rumor has it that they took down that picture on behalf of Nintendo. Which brings us back to the following statement. Nintendo once again shows they are against AI. That's a funny story that happened over the week. Nothing really crazy to unpack. I don't have many thoughts on it. I do. I actually do have thoughts. About like 1 year ago to this day, like somewhere around this time last year, 2023, I made a YouTube short, which a lot of you know me for, where I like used Photoshop's AI generative fill tool, and I put like Mario's face, and I basically generated Mario AI images. They didn't strike me down for that. I'm not sure what the problem was here. Maybe it's because my images were harmless and this one had Mario holding a cigarette and a beer. Maybe that was the difference maker in them taking down this AI photo and not the ones that I made for a YouTube short. I don't know, but that happened. And then guess what? That's not the only Nintendo AI related thing that happened this week. However, the latter half of this news piece is a bit less juicy because Shigeru Miyamoto was asked about his thoughts on AI and why Nintendo hasn't used it, if he would be a fan of it, those kinds of things. So Miyamoto did an interview with the New York Times and he was asked about AI and he had this to say, and I quote, "It might seem like we are just going the opposite direction for the sake of going in the opposite direction." He's talking about them not using AI. But it really is trying to find what makes Nintendo special. There is a lot of talk about AI, for example. When that happens, everyone starts to go in the same direction. But that is where Nintendo would rather go in a different direction. So some of that didn't even make sense to read. It's a pretty rough translation, I would assume. But essentially, he's just like, we kind of want to do things different. You can kind of get that from the statement. We want to do things different. And honestly, if you're Nintendo or any major game studio, not that I'm some expert or something, but I would recommend staying away from using AI to make your games. Because number one, I'm not sure if it's just me. I've played some AI-made games out there. It just takes away from the experience. Just knowing in your head that it's an AI game takes away from things. It's like, man, no one actually put love and thought into this game. It's just AI-made. So for me, that takes some away when I play an AI-made game. So that's number one. Number two, have you guys seen those AI games on the eShop? Search up, I'm not sure what you'd search up, but if you just scroll on some cheap games, you can tell just based on the cover art, you can tell it's AI made. When they're all shiny and stuff, that's really bad. That's bad. I remember looking at some Christmas eShop games, and there was one Santa game that was totally AI made, and you can just tell. I'm not saying that you have this feeling. No. You can look at it and actually see the parts that are made by AI. It's not good to look at. Please, Nintendo, never use AI. The only AI usage that I support, in the whole gaming industry or outside of it, is for good. So, for example, translating. If you tell ChatGPT to translate this from English to Spanish, it can get the job done. That's efficient use, I would say. If you want it to maybe brainstorm video ideas, they won't be the best ideas, but you can do it. And, I would call that maybe fair game. Are they original ideas? No, but if you're in a creative rut, it could be helpful. Things like that I feel are pretty on the table, but to use AI to make a game, get me away from it, please, get me away. But something that I don't want to be taken away from is Super Mario Party Jamboree, the game that releases on October 17th, 2024. That is a Thursday. It releases then. We just got some more info on that game, Super Mario Party Jamboree. They dropped an overview trailer, them being Nintendo, and they dropped a bunch of new info. Some of this we did know, some of it we did not know, but I'm here to bring you all the facts and everything that they showed in the new overview trailer. A lot of cool stuff. And let me say this just to hype you up before I actually get into bringing you all of the facts here that were shown in the new trailer. Listen, same thing with Echoes of Wisdom. Guys, as much as I seem like a Nintendo expert, and as much as I like to be seen as one, I was kind of out of the loop when it came to Zelda Echoes of Wisdom trailers, and right now, until today, Mario Party Jamboree trailers. 4 hours ago, if you asked me, Max, what are you most excited for in Mario Party Jamboree? I don't know if I would have had an answer for you because I've not seen anything. aside from the announcement trailer, which didn't show a crazy amount. I mean, it did kind of, but not a crazy amount, right? I've been out of the loop. I've not been like researching info on the game. I've been out of it. However, today I watched this Mario Party Jamboree trailer and I was like, yo, let me just say, this is going to be by far the best Mario Party game ever released. After watching this, I was like, yo, I'm hyped. So some of this we already know, but here are the facts. The first thing that they showed in the trailer here is there are 7 game boards in Mario Party Jamboree. Some of those are remakes from older Mario Parties. I believe that there's one from Mario Party 2 that is being remade for Jamboree. Awesome sauce. They showed off a bunch of minigames. I can't name them all for you, but they, of course, I believe they mentioned this in the announcement too. There are 110 plus minigames to explore, and some of them can even be played with motion controls, which is just absolutely cool. If you watch that trailer and you see how they're using the motion controls, I mean, it's not like revolutionary. I mean, we've been seeing motion since Wii Sports days, right? But this is just cool stuff. It's just cool stuff. So we have those basic Mario Party features, but Max, what makes this game new? What makes it defining? I couldn't answer that question a few days ago. Now I can. I didn't know about these, and I'm actually not sure if these were shown off or announced a few weeks ago. I don't know. I just learned about these 2 things today. Call me a fake fan. Call me what you want. I just learned about these 2 things. Actually, not the first one, but the second one I learned about today. The first one is the Koopathlon. There we go. The first one is the Koopathlon. If I'm saying that right, Koopathlon. Okay, I'm sorry. I'll stop. It is a 25-player game mode, and you win by doing the best in minigames. So essentially, 25 players thrown into a game, and you're playing minigame after minigame, and essentially, in layman's terms, to put it simply, whoever does the best wins. That's a fun mode, and if you thought that was fun, dude, this next one is like insane. I didn't know this existed. They're making a mode called the Bowser Kaboom Squad. I didn't know about this, guys. It's 8 players who are thrown into this map, and there's a big giant Bowser. And you're just going around and shooting him with cannons. There are 5 rounds to this game mode, and in between each round, you play a minigame. And you want to perform well in the minigame. You are working to take down this big Bowser. I mean, this is cool. And listen, you all are probably like, Max, we've been new. We knew about these things. Or maybe you didn't. I don't know. For me, I was out of the loop. Like when everyone was playing Jamboree at PAX West, I wasn't like scrolling every single tweet and trying to find out all the info. I just wasn't. Now that I've learned about these things though, man, let's freaking go. I'm hyped. Mario Party Jamboree drops October 17th. Pre-orders out now. I shouldn't be promoting that. That's not my job. Nintendo should be telling you pre-orders are available now. But my friends, our last piece of news before diving into Zelda Echoes of Wisdom talk is the Nintendo Museum. What is going on here? So I guarantee you, if you are a Nintendo fan of any generation, whether you've been a fan since the 1980s or whether you were just a fan yesterday, who knows? And this is your first Nintendo podcast episode or podcast ever. Who knows where you are in your Nintendo journey? The Nintendo Museum is a place in Kyoto, Japan, and it is what it says it is. It's a Nintendo museum. But this week, we got a tour of it last month. This week, we just got video photos of a bunch of merchandise that is in the Nintendo Museum. And I want to talk about it here with you all. I'll put pictures in the description. If you're looking for these pictures, go to the description, go to the link that says sources and links, and then click that, and then click into the museum part. I will leave all these pictures there. So let's go here. If you're watching the video version, pictures will be on screen as I talk about these things. They showed us merch, and here's what we got. If you go to that museum, you can buy all these things. First up, you can buy a t-shirt for pretty much every single console. They have these blank t-shirts that just say the console name on it and have the logo. So for example, if you want to buy a Nintendo Wii t-shirt, there are white t-shirts for sale that just say Wii. You can buy, now listen, that sounds basic. That is so cool. That's dope. You can buy a blue shirt that says Wii U. You can buy, I believe, maybe a red or a white shirt that says Nintendo 3DS. And you can do that for Virtual Boy, NES. It's so sick. That sounds stupid, but bro, that is cool. I would love to buy the Wii U shirt and just like have it for memorabilia's sake. That's dope. They have shirts of, I'm sure a lot more than just console names, but they do have shirts for those. Number 2, they're making a mug for pretty much every console. There are Wii U mugs, 3DS mugs, Wii mugs. I'm sure that there's Switch mugs too. Dude, just the subtle things, the basic mug and the basic shirt. These are the things that are really cool for no reason. You all probably think that they're basic. If, you're not super into that kind of thing, you might think it's basic. I think this is super, super awesome. Give me those mugs. Give me those t-shirts. Give me one of each. And then they have a bunch of other things. I'll leave a link to a video as well that does a great job at touring the entire museum. But they also have, and this is what everyone's freaking out about, they have pillows. They have pillows of Nintendo controllers. So they have this one pillow that is making the rounds online that effectively, it's hard to tell the size from the picture, but it looks like a Nintendo Wii Remote body pillow. Like it's like human sized almost. That's what it looks like, and that's what I'm being told. I mean, if I go to Japan and that thing does not come home with me, something went wrong. Something went wrong. Something went awfully wrong. That's how it looks anyway. There's also an N64 controller pillow that is out there if you're into that. It's not as big, or it didn't look as big. Maybe they're all tiny, but these Wii Remote ones looked freaking huge. The N64 one is like normal size. If you guys have some of those Club Mochi pillows or whatever, that's like some official Nintendo merch. If you have those pillows or know what they are, it looked like it was that size or so. So dude, they have pillows, they have mugs, they have shirts. There's so much Nintendo merch. And here's the cool thing. They're making shirts for the Wii U, the Virtual Boy. They don't care if those consoles flopped, man. They're just making it the Nintendo history shop. So that's super cool. And if that's the first bits of merch that we know of, imagine what we've not seen yet. That's going to be sick. But I don't think many people watch me from Japan, so you might not care about it. But if you all ever go to Japan, please, you better add Nintendo Museum as one of your stops, because this is looking freaking dope. But with that said, my friends, it is time. That is all of our Nintendo news to dive into. It's time for what you came here for. It's time for my first impressions on The Legend of Zelda: Echoes of Wisdom. Do I hate the game? Do I love the game? Would I recommend the game based off of 2 hours of gameplay? Is it what I thought it would be? Who knows? I know, and I will tell you right now. Let's not waste any time. Let's get to the Legend of Zelda: Echoes of Wisdom first impression segment. Let's skadoodle! The Legend of Zelda: Echoes of Wisdom. The first Legend of Zelda game to release ever since Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. If I'm forgetting something, no, I'm not. Yeah, it is the first Zelda game to release ever since Tears of the Kingdom. This is a full $60 game. It is your 2D Zelda game that was rumored for a long time. We have it now. And this game, believe it or not, was actually leaked by leaker Midori, who leaked that Zelda would be having her own game. It actually did happen, and here we freaking go. The game is here. Max, what are your thoughts? So, whenever I play games, I always make a little page of notes on my phone, and I gotta say, I have a lot of thoughts on this game, but I ended up making the least amount of bullet points that I ever make when I kind of take notes of games and talk about them. So, let's start here. I got the game today, inserted it in the Switch, collect my gold points, we boot it up. And by the way, this whole thing is spoiler free. So I should have mentioned that. It's all spoiler free, okay? No spoilers in this segment. So I boot up the game, and to be, non-spoiler, there's something about Nintendo games recently where they just throw you right into the game. I mean, there's no fluff anymore. Do you guys know how, when you would boot up, say, Mario Bros. Wii for the first time, or almost any Nintendo game, there's title screen, there's choose your character. Now, they just throw you right in like it's nothing. That's been a theme for Nintendo games recently. Even Emio might have had a title screen, but the last, Emio game, they throw you into the story. Boom, there you go. Have fun. They do that again in Echoes of Wisdom. They just throw you in like it's nothing. So that's the first thing that kind of jumped out at me, because I'm so used to just title screens and stuff. No, they throw you in. So I'm thrown in. Let's not spoil anything. The first thing that I noticed, and I'm sorry, guys, but it was a negative thing. The first thing that I noticed, I'm in the game. Of course, the game looks nice. I can tell you now, the game looks nice. I love the art style for the game. It's beautiful. It's everything that I would want. It's like, Link's Awakening, obviously. Everyone's so shiny. It's beautiful, right? First negative point, guys. First negative. When you're in the game, I'm just walking through. Let's say that a block falls down from the sky. Just randomly, right? Frame drop. I'm walking some more. Something else happens. Frame drop. I'm walking even more. A bird comes by and does something crazy. Frame drop. There are a lot of frame drops in Zelda Echoes of Wisdom. Now, Max, what is a frame drop? Not everyone knows what a frame drop is. What that means, to put it in the most layman's terms possible, is when the game gets laggy, quote unquote. When it gets laggy, when it gets kind of stuttery, freezy. That's kind of what I'm talking about here. There are a lot of that. Or there is a lot of that. That's how you word it. There is a lot of that. When fire comes up, there's a lot of that. When things shift or fall, without spoiling things, when things shift or fall, there's some of that. And there's some points in the game where it's playing at somewhere close to 30 frames per second, and then I get out of that kind of 30 frames per second area, and then it jumps right back to 60 frames per second, and then it was whoa. It was kind of a weird change. Now, I don't mind frame drops when they happen, not often and for a very little amount of time, but in Echoes of Wisdom, that's my only complaint. It happens kind of frequently. And I'm only 2 hours in. This segment here is called the First Impression segment. The first impressions here. There's kind of a lot of it. There's maybe 50 occasions where I could have said, oh, frame drop. Now, does that affect me? Yes and no. There's kind of a lot, but otherwise I'm unaffected. So kind of, I'm affected. Does that affect the gameplay experience? I mean, I'd be lying if I said no, but I guess it just doesn't bother me very much, but it does happen. That is good to report on. It does happen. It's unfortunate. There are some frame drops in this game, and I had heard about that. When the game leaked, people were obviously playing it, and they were like, yo, guys, heads up, frames drop a lot. And I thought, it wouldn't be that big of a deal. No, it's kind of a big deal. So looking past that, because that's purely a performance issue. Max, What do you think of the story? How's it going? What do you think of the echoes? So what I will dive into here are the things that we already knew. So that being the echoes. They told us about how, the game gimmick would work. And the main gimmick of the Echoes of Wisdom game is the Echoes feature. Now, what this is, once again, I don't consider it spoiler because this was shown in a trailer, so pardon me here, is Zelda unlocks a feature where she can pretty much take, not anything, but she can learn these like recipes and clone items. So let's say there's a table in the game. If I'm able to, Zelda can learn that, and then I can produce up to 3 pretty much clones of that table and like solve puzzles with that. So if I have to get to a higher cliff, I can build my 3 tables and make like steps to get up to that cliff. You can solve puzzles with that. You all probably know that if you watch the trailers for the game. What do I think of it? I think it's freaking sick. I think, honestly, this game needed that new gimmick. I don't know if a 2D Zelda game would work without making some crazy cool gimmick like that. I mean, it's not like out of this world mind-blowing, but it's like a new thing that we haven't had before. Did Link's Awakening have that? I actually didn't beat that game, but I don't think it did. So it's a brand new take. It's a breath of fresh air. It's a breath of the wild, no pun intended. It's a breath of fresh air to have a new gimmick like that. And you learn a lot of those, like echo recipes is what I'll call them. You learn a lot. Now, just being barely into the game, I can duplicate beds, I can duplicate tables, I can make all of these echoes, and it's so much fun. It just adds so much like room for possibility when solving a puzzle. So that's cool to me. I really don't think a Zelda game where it's just 2D Zelda, but you're playing as Zelda. Like, I don't think that a Link's Awakening, sword fighting, shield, all that kind of stuff would work with Zelda as the player. Like, you needed that new gimmick, and this is totally it, and I love it so much. I love it. I like having this companion by my side. As you can see on the cover art, there's that little green blob dude. His or her name is Tri. Tri is your companion throughout the game. Also, not a spoiler. This was all in trailers. I will not spoil story stuff for you, but these are all, trailer things that I'm talking about here. Tri, in my opinion, is one of the better Zelda companions. Now, here's the thing. Do we know that it's pronounced Tri? It would make sense because of like Triforce, right? Tri. But there was a Zelda companion in Skyward Sword called Fi, and that wasn't Fi. I mean, I think most people pronounce that name as Fi, unless it is Fi. I don't know. Could this be Tree? I don't know. I don't know. There's 2 Zelda companions now that end in an I. So, actually, there might be more than that. Anyways, Tree, nice companion to have, okay? Very cool. Yeah, there's Navi. So there's actually like 3+ Zelda companions that end in an I. So there you go. I like the echoes in the game. We can wrap that segment up right now. I will say, if any of you have played Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, there's a lot of DNA from those games that rubs off, okay? So, for example, just the whole UI, the sound effects, obviously, some Zelda sound effects are not going to change, but a lot of the UI, how you change what echoes you're using, the title screen, the map, the entire like system, the layout, the UI feels good. It feels like the same people who made Breath of the Wild made this game, which is obviously what kind of happened, right? Like, kind of, it's mostly Eiji Aonuma. Those main Zelda guys worked on this game. Of course, it'll be like that. I'm just saying that's good news because I like the UI for this game. I like how easy it is to change which echo you are using. I like the sound effects. I like everything, okay? I like this game. Max, have you ran into any negatives aside from the frame drops? Honestly, no. Of course, I can't dive into everything because I don't want to, ruin anyone's experience. But right now, I'm just progressing through the game. There's puzzle after puzzle, and you have to use your echoes to solve those puzzles. It's very mellow right now. I'm not sure if there are any big boss fights. I've not been in one yet. Aside from, I can't say that. Never mind. I'll shut up. No spoilers here, okay? So I'm just progressing right now. That's where I am in the game. I'm progressing. I believe I'm at Southern Forest. I believe that's where I am. I'm a little bit past that now, so whatever comes after that is where I am right now. I'm there, and I'm in love with the game, and I feel like that's what I say for a lot of Nintendo games, but it's true. I'm a fan. I wouldn't be sitting here doing a podcast about them if I didn't naturally like their games, So it just kind of happens. But no negatives. I'm just progressing, waiting to see like what the next big new thing is to do in the game. I will say this too. I like how you continuously keep learning things that you can like create a clone or an echo of in the game, because it makes it feel like you're always progressing, and I like games like that. There's some games that I'll play where I'm not like gaining new items or doing anything, and I feel like I'm not doing the right thing or I'm not progressing. I like how you're always quote unquote learning, like Zelda learns the ability to clone certain things or echo certain things. You're always doing that, and I like how it feels like you're always progressing in that way. Apart from that, no negatives. Apart from, the frame drops and stuff. Sorry, guys, I can't talk today. Why is that? Apart from the frame drops, seriously, no negatives. I can't think of anything. I would tell you if I could. No negatives that I can think of. Apart from, negatives that are a given, like, maybe the story for this game could have been stronger. I'm not thinking that, but like maybe it could have. I don't know. There's some small things that people can have a bone to pick about, but for me, I'm just rolling through the game. That's it. So let's get to the questions that I feel like a lot of people want answered. And that is, Max, should I buy this game? And for me, it's so hard to say yes or no, because like for me, I'm always so hyped up about any new game. I'm like, yeah, guys, if you want, just take a chance, buy it, $60, buy it. And for this, yeah, I mean, like, if I'm talking to a Nintendo fan who, is a big Nintendo fan, maybe you are or you aren't listening at home, I would say, for people who are not into Zelda, this is a great entry point, because I'm not sure if y'all can tell. It's not geared towards like the expert Nintendo player. I mean, it can be because there's a hero mode in the game, but it's not like totally advertised to those people. This game, I feel like, is not very difficult compared to other Zelda games so far, so it's a great entry point. For the dedicated fan, I would say, yes, pick it up. For the fan who's kind of on the fence of getting into Zelda, this is a cool entry point. Of course, I entered personally with Breath of the Wild. That's also great, but like if you want something very mellow and simple, this is a cool entry point. Who would I not recommend this to? Who would I not say, hey, yeah, buy Echoes of Wisdom? Who would I say no to? I would say if you hate Zelda, no way. I would say if you dislike puzzle games, some people just like the Mario run, jump platformers, or the Mario series overall. This is different for sure. I mean, of course, it's Zelda. It should be different, but I'm saying like if you're a fan of those games, I probably wouldn't recommend this game to you if you're also not a fan of Zelda. Those kinds of things. Who is the game for? It's for any Nintendo Switch fan who either likes Zelda or is on the fence. I know some people have told me that it's hard to get into Zelda when they just have no interest. And if that's the case, if you look at this and you see no interest, I probably wouldn't buy it, because that's how a lot of things go. You want to buy it because everyone likes it, but you have no interest, so you buy it, and it confirms, yeah, I have no actual interest. If you're like that with this game, don't buy it. I hope that I covered all the bases on who should buy it. So I will repeat. Who should buy it? Nintendo fans and people who like Zelda. Who should not buy this? People who are not a fan of puzzle games and people who hate Zelda. Otherwise, this is a pretty good recommend. It's not too hard. So far anyway. So far. A few hours in, it's not too hard. And it's just one of the better 2024 Nintendo games. Like I think this blows a game like Mario versus Donkey Kong out of the water. I think it blows, honestly, Princess Peach Showtime out of the water. I think it blows Luigi's Mansion 2 HD out of the water. Like, it's better than most of the games that we've seen this year. And that's just 2 hours in. Imagine how I would feel after 20 hours. You know, like, this is first impression segment. This game is good. I like it a lot. The only problem are the frame drops. $60 out now. Check it out if you would like. And I will get back to playing some Echoes of Wisdom later this weekend, probably. Not tonight. I have stuff to do. But with that said, those are my thoughts. Let's go ahead and get to the people's favorite segment, the question block segment, also known as the Q&A segment, where I answer your questions you have asked me. Let's go ahead and let's get freaking to it. Hit the question block. Ding! It is time to answer your questions you all have asked me. There are 2 ways to ask me questions on this podcast. Number 1, in my Discord server, link down below. If you have Discord, you can join that and leave me a question in the channel that is called Podcast Questions. Otherwise, I post a YouTube community tab post every single Tuesday where I ask for questions. You can check that out as well. I post it on my main channel called EmSwizzle. You can find it in the description because that's where I have the biggest written audience. So I do it there, and it kind of funnels people into this podcast that they maybe didn't know about beforehand. So that's why I do it over there. But the simplest way is through the Discord server. Check that out if you would like. Our first question here comes from that one guy 1422, and they ask, what is your favorite moment of the community coming together for something big, such as beating every Mario Maker 1 level? Right, so if you guys do not recall, the gaming community, the Nintendo community beat every single Mario Maker 1 level before the Wii U servers shut down. That's a great example, and honestly, I probably would have taken that. Shoot, man. When the gaming community came together, that's a tough one, because honestly, as sad as it sounds, doesn't happen often. When's the last time the community came together, like as one to accomplish something? I might steal your example and go with that, because not only was that recently, like this year recent, but that was a special one. Because some of those Mario Maker levels, man, that, you know, they wanted to beat every single one. Some of those are not easy. Some of those are really hard levels, and somebody sat down on the couch after work and beat it. You gotta admire it. Other times when the community came together, here's one. When Nintendo denied that Joy-Con drift existed and people kept suing them because it actually did exist. That's one time, and now everybody has free Joy-Con repairs. I would vote for that time as well. One of those 2 times are my answer. Bloom8182 asks, how likely is it that we would get a new Pikmin installment this year or the next? Well, it can't be this year. Ain't no way it's this year. It's also pretty early for a Pikmin. If it came out next year, that would be a 2-year or less gap. You're asking me what are the chances of a new Pikmin game in the next year or 2? I say next to impossible, because here's why. You know, you might be thinking like, hey, they could make a Pikmin spinoff. But even when they made a Pikmin spinoff, it didn't come out until what? 4 years after the previous main Pikmin game came out, Pikmin 3. So if we do get a Pikmin spinoff, the earliest you would see it, in my opinion, would be 2026, which would not be next year. So the chances of getting a Pikmin game this year or the next, I will write off as impossible. Unless it's like a weird mobile thing, then, we're talking about Switch or Switch 2 games, near impossible. Impossible. Certainly impossible. Okay, there we go. Impossible it is. Unfortunately, I love Pikmin, but it's impossible. Not this soon. Aiden Star asks, what Nintendo game do you think has the most personality and charm? One comes to mind immediately. No, it's not Animal Crossing, guys. It's not Animal Crossing. Although it does have charm and personality. I think it has to be. It has to be. No debate, no questions asked, hands down, Nintendo Land. I think it has to be. You talk about personality and charm. There's games that have one of those. Animal Crossing has charm. Splatoon 3 has personality. Like, some games have these, but they're split. You talk about a game that has both in one, Nintendo Land. Personality, I'm going to relate personality with uniqueness. Uniqueness and personality in the sense that these are games no one has really seen before. When have you seen a game like the Zelda game in Nintendo Land? Where have you seen the game like I'm forgetting all of the games in Nintendo Land. When have you seen a game like the Pikmin one that was included in there? You haven't seen these things. It's personality, it's uniqueness. It's all new. They aren't like clones of a popular game. I guess Mario Chase is like tag, if you want to say that. But like, these are unique games. What makes it charming? Dude, I was just playing Nintendo Land with a friend 2 weeks ago. Less than that. No. 2 weeks ago. It was 2 weeks ago. And we were having a ball. And we've played Nintendo Land so many times. I mean, it was still a charming game. After all these years, it was still fun. We were playing Mario Chase. We played the Luigi's Mansion game, and we know how the games work, but we're still like laughing and smiling at all these things. It brings you charm, dude, because you've never seen a game like these. You've never seen a game, maybe you have, but this is pretty, unique still, where somebody has the gamepad and you can't see what they're doing on there, and someone looks at the TV and the TV person doesn't know what the gamepad person is doing. It brings like so much mysteriousness. It's like just phenomenal. Nintendo Land takes the cake there for sure. The Mario Kart guy asks, what is your favorite song from Mario Kart and why? I would say, I know the answer. I would say it has to be the Mario Kart. Oh God, I believe it's Mario Circuit for Mario Kart 8, which is funny because somebody asked us last week, me and Abdallah Smash, they asked us what our favorite or which Mario Kart track would we live on? And my answer was Mario Circuit. But let me pull up, it's definitely the Mario Circuit theme, right? Let's check right now. Ready? Yes, this theme right here. Whatever that theme is right there, I can't play too much of it. That theme right there is golden. Do you want to know why? Because when Mario Kart 8, not Deluxe came out, but the version on the Wii U, when that came out, I was 8. I was 8 years old playing that game. And listen, guys, I don't care what you say. Whatever Mario Kart game you played when you were 8 years old is the best one. Like, just for nostalgia reasons, for overall reasons, it just is the best one. So me being 8 playing it on the Wii U was like phenomenal to me. And that was the song, if I'm not mistaken, that was used in a lot of promo videos. Like when I would watch, I could be wrong, but I feel like when I watched commercials and things like that, that was the song that would play as like, hey, new Mario Kart game. And they would have that Mario Circuit song playing. And now it just gives me so much nostalgia. And that was, I think, the first track that me and my brother played in Mario Kart 8 on the Wii U back in 2014. Like, that song is just stuck now. So I vote for that song. Close second is the Animal Crossing track song. That one's phenomenal too. Mixed Scooch asks, if you had to be the main character in a Nintendo game, who would you be? Well, I guess I would pick a character who has done it all, who has done great things. Honestly, as basic of an answer as it might be, I think I go Link. Bro, you just saved the world. Who would not want to be Link in that situation? Bro just beat this demon that no one wanted to fight, no one could beat. Bro just went in there and single-handedly defeated him. How are you not the man after that? So for me, easy answer, I go Link. Is there any close second? No. I would actually like to be Olimar too. Olimar like does it for his family. You know, if you played Pikmin 1, Olimar is like writing about his like family. Like, dude, that he's a family man. I would like to be him too. So either one of them. Olimar is a very good pick as well. I would go Link or Olimar. My mouse will not. Here we go. I can see the next questions now. Axel Average, you know, guys, when I do solo episodes, I like to take more personal questions. Not, you know, this isn't very personal, but like a solo question. So if you ever see me not advertising this show as, you know, a guest episode, feel free, fire away at some me-only questions, you know. Axel Average asks, can you do a room tour? So this is a question that I would not bring up on a guest episode because makes no sense. I'm in my studio. My personal room is not this, you know. So a studio tour, I would love to do, and so many people ask me for that. I want to do it. The only problem is like, there's just a few more things I want to put on the wall and like some cords I have to organize before I would even do it. I mean, if you want it, I can do it without all that. No. Give me a few months to like get everything straight, and then I can do it for you. My studio is clean. It's not like messy, but there's just some wires and some things that I could make look neater. It's primed for a tour right now if I wanted to do it, but I want to give it a little while because there's so many things. Like, watch this, guys. If you're watching the video version, Alexa, change the lights to blue. You probably can't tell, but everything just went blue. There's so many moving parts to this studio that I'm going to show in a full tour, but not all of them are ready yet. Alexa, change lights to warm white. That is my favorite, like, default light bulb color. There it goes. Cool beans. But I'm just showing you that to show you that, like, there's a lot of things. She didn't change this light to warm white. This light above me is still blue. Alexa, change above podcast light to warm white. Thank you. That one light didn't change back to warm white. I'm not sure why that was. Our next question comes from Cairo, who asks, do you think that far in the future, video game companies will stop using physical games and switch completely to digital? Yes, absolutely. I think your question there just becomes a matter of when. Like, when will they change from physical games to fully digital games? So I'm going to change your question. Max, when will it happen? Because it obviously will happen. If you look at, you know, one Google search, you type in what % of games are physical sales versus digital sales. The number's like 92 to 8%. 92 in favor of digital. So yeah, physical games are going away. And here's my guess. I think a lot of it. I think the people who will decide what happens next are going to be Xbox and PlayStation. Because Nintendo is kind of in the middle. If you look at when the Switch launched versus when the Xbox and PS5 launched, Switch was in 2017, Xbox in 2020, and PS5. Switch 2 will probably be next year. The next Xbox and PS5 will probably be... next Xbox and PS6 will probably be in 2026 or 7. So what I mean by that is Nintendo has pretty much already confirmed they will have physical games for the next system. But if Xbox and PS6 come out and you cannot use physical games, it's hard to see like Nintendo then going to Switch 3 or whatever, and still using physical games when the two big gaming companies, PS6 and Xbox, have moved on. It's hard to see them doing it once again when those guys moved on. So I think Xbox and PlayStation do kind of determine that. I think if you have to give me a year, I think PS6 and the new Xbox will still use physical games. I think the generation after that, PS7 in like 2033, I think those games will stop having physical games. And then I think Nintendo, when they drop their Switch 3 in the year 2030 something, I think then they might stop as well. The short answer is it's coming in the next little over a decade or so. Because, I mean, there's stores that rely on this kind of stuff. I think selling physical games, you have to always do it because here's why. I think it would be so weird for somebody to walk into a store like Target or Walmart and want to buy the new PlayStation. And then like there's no games out there with it. You're just putting the consoles out and then you go home and then buy your games. I think that's weird. I think that there should be some level of physical games at the store. Like always, no matter how many sales are digital. So it's hard to see. It's tough to say. I think 2030s maybe would be a decent guess because they are fading out for sure. The Swag Banana asks if you could pick Animal Crossing and also another Nintendo franchise to play for the rest of your life, which one would it be? When you think of picking franchises for the rest of your life, you have to pick the ones that last the longest. So Zelda would be a good choice, but if I wouldn't pick story games because then you've kind of experienced all of them. There's nothing new to experience. I would probably... So you said Animal Crossing, and then to that I would probably add other game series. I would add, if this counts, because it's not like it's not a standalone franchise, it's a series in a franchise, I would pick Mario Party because that's endless. I mean, that's just endless. Like, well, Mario Party, all of the Mario Party games, all of those mini games, online play, I mean, it's a no-brainer. So, Animal Crossing and Mario Party are the two franchises / series. Mario Party is a series in a franchise that I would play for the rest of my life if I ever had to, which I hope that never happens. Expect a Ghost asks, do you think Nintendo has been doing a good job at balancing the releases of new games and ports / remakes / remasters? I think this year you're definitely seeing remake heavy. I think, it's not as fun this year as it might have been last year. I think they're doing a decent job, but maybe they should have split up. Like Echoes of Wisdom should have dropped a bit earlier this year, maybe like May. And then like these last three games, Echoes of Wisdom, Mario Party, and Mario and Luigi are all brand new games. These should have been a bit more spread out throughout the year kind of thing. I think it's better to release remasters while you are revealing the next system. So for example, if these next two games, so we have Mario Party in October, we have Mario and Luigi in November. If those two games were in October, we have Donkey Kong Country Returns, and in November we had Mario versus Donkey Kong. Those were our two upcoming releases. This would be a perfect time for Nintendo to reveal the next console, the Switch 2, because there's nothing crazy coming out. But because there's Mario Party and Mario and Luigi, big time sellers and brand new games, it's harder to reveal your next system right now. And will they do it? Maybe not. Who knows? I think that they're, to answer your question, I think they are doing a decent job at spreading the games out, but maybe they could have done it a little bit better because like the first few games of this year, Another Code Recollection, Mario versus Donkey Kong, were all remakes and remasters. Then we had Princess Peach Showtime. But then after that, we had what? We had... What was the April game? Did we have a game in April? But after that, it was Paper Mario. Then it was Luigi's Mansion. We did have Endless Ocean too, but we've had a ton of remakes and remasters this year. It's tough to say. I think they've done a decent job, but they could have done better. And finally, final question. Salmon's Animations asked, what inspired you to start this podcast? Yeah. So what inspired me to start was just when I made this podcast, it was June of 2022. I was kind of on hiatus with my YouTube channel. I wasn't uploading. I wasn't really doing anything because it was Animal Crossing time. And after Animal Crossing died, because I was an Animal Crossing creator. After that game died, it was all right, what do I make now? So I tried to make some things and it didn't go well. So I kind of essentially quit my YouTube channel, but I didn't want to fully quit. So I made this podcast, which I enjoy doing and still enjoy doing, so I can kind of keep the channel alive while not going crazy hard. And then I found YouTube Shorts and my life changed. But this was kind of my weekly or so commitment to keeping the channel alive. So that's kind of what inspired it. But then what made it so consistent, I just love doing this. And I sometimes feel like I'm not the best talker. I stutter sometimes. I don't know what to do. I lose my train of thought. I do this podcast so that I can get better at it. If you watch episode even 50 and now, it's a world of a difference. I'm getting better at speech, at long form speech and not stuttering every 9 words. I'm getting better at it. I'm doing good things. And this podcast is just a work. It's me trying to get better at what I do. It's me getting better at interviewing people. I'm 17. When I'm 25, I will be much more comfortable interviewing anybody because I'm interviewing these people that, are not the easiest people to talk to. You're hosting a podcast, you have these guests on. It's not the easiest thing to do. You get all nervous before. It's just building me up so that when I have harder things to do, they're not as hard because I have built up this experience. I can now, I am now rather better at maybe I would be at a public speaking job. If I ever have to public speak, I would be better because I've spoken in length, unscripted, things like this. I just get better at it and I can hold myself together in a speech and my own interview. If someone's interviewing me, I can do all that kind of stuff. I'm just getting better at it. And that's what's driven me to stay motivated and consistent. But what inspired me to start it was a commitment to keep my YouTube channel alive. But folks, that is it for the Mario Matter episode 108. Next week, of course, guys, we go back to having a guest on the podcast. And then, of course, the week after that, we have another guest. And then the week after that, we have a solo show for Mario Party Jamboree. Every time a new game drops, there is a solo episode. Other than that, it should mostly be guest episodes. Guest next week, guest the week after that, Jamboree episode, guest the week after that. I believe the week after that would be... Nope, guess the week after that. The week after that, Mario and Luigi. Guess the week after that, and it keeps on going on. I will see you all next episode for more. Big announcement coming soon in terms of merch. We will have something rolling out very soon. And I'll see you all next time with a guest to talk about the Nintendo news in the world. And that'll be our first episode for October. See you then. Nintendo YouTuber EmSwizzle signing out. Adios.